But young women's, think about young women's. So young women's would say, well, as young women's presidency, we're helping a young women's class presidency lead. And we could help them identify the girls that are coming and are participating. We could help them to receive revelation together about what they can do to help them. And then we could help them go and minister to those girls. And if they go, we know that when they go and invite their friends and these girls to come, they'll feel a great desire to return. The class presidency reached out to me and said, will you come back? And of course I'll come back. So what about the deacons' quorum presidency? So who's responsible for the deacons' quorum presidency in the ward council? Second council of the bishopric. So he says, I want to take this to the quorum presidency and help them receive revelation about how they can bring those deacons that are participating. So as you go through the whole council, everyone can participate, priest quorum especially. When I was a priest, something changed my life. I was the assistant to Bishop Hank Kruzinka, and lovely bishop. And he would come to our priest quorum meetings very regularly. And after the priest quorum meeting, we'd have our priest quorum presidency meeting with him. And the meeting was very short. And it was always the same for the first five or six meetings. He would say, brethren, there's 4 priests, members of our quorum that aren't here and haven't been ordained yet, but they're members of our quorum. What are you doing about them? And we'd bow our head and say, oh, sorry, Bishop, we forgot, we've done nothing. And he closed the meeting. Next time we met, same agenda, same question. Oh, sorry, Bishop, we've forgotten. And then we realised this was not going to change. And we then started to reach out to these young men and invited them to come back. They all came back, changed their life. Bishop didn't do it for us, but he invited us as his assistants to reach out. So we had a ministry experience, and it blessed us and blessed him. We knew he expected all of us to go on missions. 7 out of 8 went on missions. Just in a time when it wasn't normal to go on a mission. Young Women's is really a beautiful change has occurred from the Young Women's presidency, leading and teaching young women and caring for them, to the Young Women's class presidency, taking responsibility like a deacons or teachers' quorum presidency for the girls in Young Women's. And the more we make that transition, the more powerful the young women become. We have high expectations, we provide high support, and we share things with them that they can do. So, as young women, as a Young Women's presidency, we like to think about how can you help all of the young women prepare to receive their endowment when they're 18? What do we need to do to help all of them be ready? That's a great thing for Young Women's presidency, class presidency. The leaders are there. They're saying, we've got 70% of our young women are active in the church. What about the other 30%? What can we do to help them? Bless them. The best activity in church for them is the sacrament meeting. How do we help them come back to that beautiful experience? And so on. So we, that seminary participation, Young Women's class presidency, how many of our young women are participating in seminary? What can we do? Presidency? What will you do? How can you help? We have loving high expectations for the young women and help them see who they really are and become leaders and strong and powerful. How old was Mormon when he was called by Amaron? 10 years old. 15, he was leading the armies. So we don't need to worry about age. It's all about how do we help our young women and young men become who they really are, and learn and grow in the youth. So that's an opportunity, I think. for young women. This is an amazing age group, and then youth, the same, the Bishop's Youth Council, they'll do amazing things if we invite them to and challenge them. So there's some other councils I think that we shouldn't forget when we're thinking about councils.